All right, howdy, howdy. I'm Shentok here, showcasing Étoile Princesse. I don't speak French, so apologies for butchering that. For the Sharp X68000, it was a home computer that came out in the late '80s in Japan. It wasn't successful, but it was popular among enthusiasts. But we'll get right into it. For first off, I am going to be using the MIDI option because this game is beautifully has a beautiful use of MIDI with this game, where it uses the internal sound chip, which is a Yamaha sound chip. Think of it as like the sound chip from the Sega Genesis, but and the next step up is very common to use in arcade hardware in the late '80s, early '90s. Um, and we'll get right into it with we'll give a countdown with three, two, one, and let's go. I'm gonna let the intro play out because it is fantastic and it's also not very long. Basically, we're in the kingdom of, or we're in the world of Fail Land. Um, it's a floating world divided into several items and multiple tribes of. We'll get into that. So basically, you got our princess Ryu reading her book. Old guy comes in, gets shocked. Basically, he comes with terrible news of that her husband to be has been kidnapped by a witch. And she's like, yeah, what do I gotta do with it? It's not my problem. It's like, and so basically, he's basically the prince of the Sun tribe. And he's like, why do I care about someone I don't even know? And I'm gonna flash the picture of him, and he's like, holy cow, he's really cute. For the sake of love and justice, I need to go save him. Yes, it is very fast and hard to read. It took me quite a few tries before I got what it said. But basically, anyways, let's go do this. Everyone. And she's just like so confident now, even though she only wants to save him because he's cute. Then now the old guy gives little tutorials, just like, hey, here's a map, use it well, and use all your abilities, and now we're right in the game. Oops, sign. So this is more of just like an action RPG than anything. We can run, we can jump, we can shoot. We can also charge our shoot button for magic pack, which we'll be using extensively. We can also jump on things, and we can jump on the trees. Look at that. This game, I feel like, was really ahead of its time for 1994, where you can actually just like have depth in your 2D game. You can jump on things. If you can reach it, you can get on top of it. It's great. Yeah, it feels almost intentional, especially in later stages where they encourage you to jump on stuff. So we've got a healing herb, which restores our MP, and then the cherry herb, which restores our HP to full. They get used automatically as long as you have them equipped when you're out. Yeah, so we're going to our first fight, find someone that's been sealed away, and we're going to go save her from this guardian boss. I actually went through this game this morning to see if I could glean some story. But it turns out there really isn't a whole lot, which is great. It's just a bunch of gag dialogue. Let's see, move up a bit. There we go. And so we rescue our first partner. Basically, the way the game works is that we have our main character, Ryu, which is always going to be in our group, and have up to 2 other party members with us at any time in the stage. And we can have, I think there's like 7 total. And none of them have any names except for one character later. This one's just referred to as a member of the Wind Tribe. And she's going to be our most powerful person for killing bosses. And so now we're in the next stage, which is just like a Watermill stage. It's basically a dilapidated town. And we gotta lower the bridges on all the waterways. And so basically, there's just like 2 switches we have to hit that'll lower the bridge so we can continue forward. And it's basically just overrun with monsters, but we pretty much ignore them. They don't do anything. They drop items, like mostly just like MP refill and occasionally an HP refill, but that's it. They're not particularly worth fighting. You notice how we're moving quite slowly though, but we'll get some movement speed soon. But for now, we just gotta move real slowly until we can get that item. But basically, the story of the game is that the prince is kidnapped, and yeah, we gotta go save him. And it turns out a bunch of other people have been kidnapped too. And here we get the jet boots. I love this item. Basically, you jump and then you hold the jump button and you move at a much greater speed, and you get like that cool after image trail effect. There we go. So we're gonna do that again. And go through over here where we're going to get our first red chest. And basically I'm running a category called all collectibles. I can't call it 100% because there's no percent counter really, but there are a finite number of chests you can open, sort of. Red chests, once you open them, they stay open. Green chests, if you open them and re-enter the stage, they'll be closed again and have their item refilled. Green chests only ever have HP and NP refill items, so don't worry about them too much. I'm gonna get a secret item over here, which is a protective charm, and make a little joke about like, should we really be taking this? It's like, it's alright, he's dead. So, and we got another HP upgrade there, and then we can switch to our character, who's basically gonna be our boss killer for most of the game. We get our first boss here, and charge over magic and stand inside the enemy. And basically, bosses don't have iframes, so normally her magic attack isn't very powerful, but because bosses don't have iframes, you can just stand inside the boss and deal maximum damage with her. It's fantastic. And now we unlock we save a character who's not going to join our group, but she does give us an item called the defense ring, or no, the guard ring. And it's basically, it reduces the damage you take by half as long as you have it equipped, and it's going to be definitely our equipped item for most of the game. Just taking less damage, of course, is great when you're ignoring enemies. Swap over here. Go over this way, and so every map also has every stage also has a map chest that I grab because it's a red chest, so therefore it's a collectible, even though it doesn't show up in your inventory as one. Still get it because it fulfills the requirement of getting all the items that you can only get once. Okay, yeah, just running through everything, and that's why we have the guard ring. Ooh, wow. Here we go. Oh yeah, just like the enemies are as inconsequential as possible. There's some cool designs, but other than that, they're just there to impede your path, especially if you know the way. Again, swoop over here, and of course she like calls out, it's like, hello, is there anyone here? And then of course the boss just shows right up. And so because this game does have depth, jumping, it can be useful for some bosses like this one. Ooh, wow, really getting out of the way. It can be useful for dealing the maximum damage possible. And there are also some bosses that don't even jump around, but for whatever reason jumping in their hitbox causes more damage. It might be just like the size of the boss or something. And we got our third character. She's basically from the Fire Tribe, and her specialty, of course, is fire magic. But we don't really use her. Diablo was heavily inspired by Twilight Princess. Yes, you are correct. That's totally the case. But I am going to put her in my party anyways for a later stage where she is passively useful. But for the most part, we're just always going to be running around as Iruru. And then she complains about how hot it is here, and that's pretty much all she says about this stage. Like most stages, she'll have a little quip when you enter. Sometimes another character in your group may have something to say as well, depending if you have them with you and they have something to say. But for the most part, she's the talkative one. Although there's like fun little flavor text when you enter a boss. Of course, that's unique to whatever character's active at the time. And then some stages, like finding something, another character will have something to comment on it. Like when I found that charm and I stole it off the grave. There we go. So yeah, we're gonna get a lot of HP. You notice that our HP pool winds around just because they did not have enough space for how big this HP pool is. Oh, fell off the edge. I was trying to avoid the skeleton there, and I corrected too much. Jump here. Awesome. So now we get this item here. Basically, it drains your MP to recover HP. It's just like a little fairy that flies around. It can also block projectiles, but it's not particularly useful in the speed run. Just because we don't really take enough damage to warrant needing something like that, and having air MP is much more important. And we're actually going to kill this enemy here because the door, even though he goes away from the door is not accessible. Now we get a screen-filling dragon here. All we get is 1 foot and its head. If we move over here, we can do a little tech where if we don't move while over in the spot, the dragon can't hit us. The falling stalactites, I think, and I forget which ones were up above, can still hurt us though, but the dragon can't hurt us while we're down here. And then this is like the only boss where you lose control right after the boss dies, so we can't move into a position to save some time in the cutscene. So this is the girl from the dragon tribe. She boasts that she's as strong as 100 men and insists on joining our party, but we're like, no, we don't want you. Can you just help us get us across the chasm over here? And she just throws us, yeets us across. And then here we enter a choice of being able to enter 2 areas, but we just go to this one because it's conveniently right there. It doesn't really matter the order here. And this is one of the longer stages in the game. The stages in this game are really short. This is one of the longer ones. And there will be backtracking in this game. This is one of the stages where we will be doing backtracking. Because eventually we're gonna run. We're not gonna see it in this stage, but there will be a gold chest that we cannot open because we do not have a key to open it. We can only open red and green chests right now. And unique to this stage are mimic chests. So there are going to be a number of chests that you'll see me just run by and completely ignore because they're actually just monsters. If you try to open them, the monster will just start going on attacking you right there. And I don't want that. Those mimics are pretty mean creatures. That's a good mnemonic right there. So I was right with stalactites. So you're gonna go over here, go down this hole because there's a switch there, but we can't enter it. We can't press it yet. So we have to press one of these. It's always the same one. So you're supposed to. There we go. So teleporter, sorry. And then you press the correct one, and it opens up the door, and you can teleport back up. And then you gotta press another switch over here. Press the wrong switch, an item like a gag item will fall on your head, and you'll just complain about the pain. But it's like I said, it's always the same switch, so it doesn't matter. And we get the 1 health upgrade here. And the nice thing about health upgrades is that it does refill your health entirely. So it just makes it a little bit safer for if you get hit or something. Ooh, wrong way. I want to go this way. I want to go that way later. Ooh, that's a good one too. But now we gotta turn off the fire because we can't enter that room yet because there's just pesky fire in the way. Over here, got a slime that multiplies a wall thingy that shoots stuff at you. I'm sure there's names for it, but this game is very light on lore and information. It's mostly just like served as a gag game. And a well-made one at that. Over here, let's swap over. Avoid that. And get on there, because we don't want to fall onto the floor flow. Now we get this big demon guy who introduces himself. He's like real proud of his body, his muscles. He brags about it a lot. But we're just going to take him down with magic. And yeah, fortunately it's censored. But he does lose his loincloth. I'm just going to attack you. There we go. And he's like bragging about his muscles when that happens. He's like, look how sculpted I am. And then this girl, she doesn't want to join our party. She said she's pretty useless, and but she'll max out her HP and give us an attack. No, she doesn't give us an attack ring. That's later. But she's like, I'm pretty useless, but I can upgrade your HP. Now we go to this area, and this is one of 2 areas where the character you bring in matters. If we don't bring in the fire tribe girl, this dungeon is completely dark. Except that they use if you can see in the edges, they employ a scan line effect to create the darkness. I don't need it, but I like it for when I am broadcasting this game because it's really nice to be able to see, and two, that people watching can see as well. But like the game is actually pretty generous with you being able to do the stage in darkness. And when I do revisit the stage to get items I can't get on this trip, I'll definitely be showing it off in darkness. Because if we go right there's a gold chest, but we can't open that until much later. Go over here, get some fun little platforming. Look, if you're a well-sculpted red demon, wouldn't you be flexing too? Go over here, wood skeleton. And like I said, enemies are mostly inconsequential, especially because we get a lot of HP that we don't really have to deal with them. So it mostly becomes a puzzle-solving adventure and just navigating each of the mazes. And wait for the cycle here. Fortunately, cycles are very consistent. Like, I think they're based on when you start being able to view them more than like anything else. Because I've noticed that with a lot of cycles I've tried to hit, it's like you hit them no matter what, as long as you can see it. Go over there. Get more of that because you can only hold one healing item of each type at a time. If you grab an extra one, it just refills your whatever stat it's meant to refill, which does come in handy later for boss fights and stuff, especially as we need more MP to deal with them. So go down here. Alright, now we just gotta hope that that bat does not hit me. If I get hit, it respawns me back on the last solid piece of land I was on, and I have to go up just a little bit to respawn the fallen blocks. Because those are falling as I am going past them. Now I go over here. If we go north, we'll get a text box that says that, oh, I think I need to cross this, but I don't have anything to cross it with. So avoid doing that, of course, as we want to go fast. Okay, good. Skeleton didn't wreck me. Sometimes that skeleton will throw a bone at me in just the right way. And now we get some rope here. And the game clearly says rope. And it kind of gives you a hint on what to do, and especially the way to go by having that tight rope there. It's like, yeah, go this way, there's more rope. If you go the other way, it's just there's like a third path you can go, but it's just a dead end. Go over here. Now we can go over here, tie up the rope. And now we can cross. And then we got some platforming here. Okay, phew, didn't miss that. It can be a little scary. Like, your jumps are pretty generous, but it can still be a little scary. Okay, swap over. And now, of course, we got the obligatory spider boss right after that cutscene. The boss is very easy, very consistent. As long as I don't jump too soon, like that. I got stuck. So yeah, you can get stuck in the web, and it just slows down your movement a lot. So yeah, as you heard briefly, there is a low health indicator. Fortunately, this game is merciful about that. If you have a healing item equipped while you're on low health, it won't beep. Yeah, I absolutely love this game. So we get another character there. She's not very chatty. She just speaks in like one word, monotone way of talking, at least as like a way of implied. She's just like, oh, are you okay? She's like, there's like just a lot of ellipses, then yes. And that's it. That's all she ever says. Okay, go over here. Get the map, of course. Gotta get the map in every stage. We're getting all the collectibles. And this stage has a lot of like up and down platforming that's utilized. So like we can't go through those doors or those slots, so we have to go around them. You go up here to avoid all the obstacles, and of course you want to go over here because you want to get the compass. The compass is a very useful item. You'd think, but she actually is. So the compass is like really useful casually. Basically, if you have it equipped, the compass points to the nearest chest in the room, and if there's no chests in the room, it'll just spin endlessly until you go to another room. Here. Open up here. Okay, cute. Didn't get wrecked. Very useful item. It was very handy for me, helping me find all the chests when I was routing this game initially, because there are a lot of them. Jump on there. Is of course you can jump on those things that they don't look like they can be jumped down, but you can. It just saves a little bit of time from having to go around. There we go. Looks like it is cut off on the stream. Like I will describe that the health bar goes really long, and we are on our way to there. But it's only cut off a little bit, so don't worry too much about it, I suppose. Okay, going up here. And then I'll switch to her again. We are good on items, of course. And now we're gonna go up here. And she comments, is like, oh man, the moon's really pretty. And the Grim Reaper shows up. Okay, nice. This boss is very consistent as well. His movements aren't exactly consistent, but the way his patterns are moved. So we will always teleport, move, and then on the second one, he'll move a second time before I can damage him. Yeah. Howdy, Priya. And so now we get probably my favorite character in the game. She's just like a member of the Moon Tribe, and that's it. She doesn't want to help us. She's like totally not interested in helping us. But then we tell her, it's like, hey, if you help me save the prince, surely the Sun Tribe, who the prince is from, will give you loads of money. And he's like, money? Okay, I'll help. It's like, great. This is what we gotta do. It's like, money, money, money. And that's all she's talking about the entire time. The rest of the conversation is just like how rich she'll be. And so now we get like one of the more labyrinthian areas of the game. I used to really, like when I was first starting doing runs of the game, I really struggled in figuring it out and how to get around. I would just kind of forget because everything was kind of samey. But now we're talking to trees, and they're like, "Hey, can you get rid of this evil dryad for us? It's really hard to groove." You're like, "Yeah, sure." It's like, "Okay, I'll open up the path for you." And it's like there's these spiky vines, and now we get like the middle-aged tree, and now we get the old dying tree. And he falls asleep after helping us out. Yeah, I actually used to run Magic Knight Rayearth on the Saturn, and I ran that at Limit Break in 2019, actually. Fantastic game, fantastic speed run. Now we get this new baby tree. He's like, I'll open the last of the paths for you. I believe technically you don't need to find that one to get to the boss, but because there is a health upgrade hidden behind one of the spiky vines that he can remove, that we need to talk to him. Oh man, all the dragons are in the way. And I would say this is like the boss we're coming up to is when the game gets kind of hard. The boss is really tanky and does a lot of damage. Like, the game never gets terribly hard. The game is very generous too. If you die during the boss fight, you checkpoint right before it. It's really kind like that. Swap, jump. And I'm sure you've never seen a dryad that looks like this. And he's just like buying his own business. And we just go and attack him, and he's like, what the heck? Okay. This is gonna be a longer fight than I would like. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Because this boss actually hurts quite a bit, so I am just gonna take extra precautions. There we go. The boss is like really tanky. If I were to try to finish off with regular attacks, it would take a really long time. And here we came for this teleporter that takes us where we want to go. Which is basically we're trying to get to the Palace of the Sun, but we're having trouble getting there. So we're going from place to place, trying to figure out the way there. and we were told of a merchant here who would help us out. And this is a really short stage. Basically, it's more of like a showcase of their technical prowess in a way. So swap, swap, and it's also a really good place to refill our items. And this is the only stage where the item chests have little notes on them. It's like, hey, thanks for taking my items. Why don't you come visit my shop? And they're like, man, that's really good advertising. And we're also, because this is a Sharpix 68,000 game, we get some obligatory schmupping. It's pretty basic. All you do is just hang out for a bit and wait. But it has some really cool line scrolling. I really dig it. But for those who aren't familiar with the Sharpix 68,000, it was notorious for being very shmup-heavy in its library, because a lot of enthusiasts like developing for it. And it had a very prolific doujin market. There we go. And this boss is really easy. All we do is wait for him to come back up, jump down, and our hitbox for the magics just stays on top of him. Oops, I let go of that too soon, but it still worked out. There we go. Very simple boss, but this boss is actually pretty tough casually if you're trying not to get knocked off, because it does have like a water spout attack that tries to push you off and traces you pretty well. And we get this girl. She's basically of the feather holder tribe. Is like the only way. The feather bearer tribe. They can have wings and stuff. And she runs a shop, and she's like, "Oh, I can help you out. You got money, right?" It's like, "Well, no. But you got money, right?" Like, okay, I'll give you the free way to get to where you want to go, and just shoots us out of a canyon. And go all the way over to the continent now. And so it's going to place us over here at this place, but we don't want to go here yet. We want to go over here to the lake. Or to the lake, yeah. Because there's an item here we want to get first that will make the other stage go a bit faster. And this stage is kind of cool because it encourages, there's a point where it encourages you to go to places on the map you don't think you should be able to get an item. Down here. Yeah, the Secret of Mana now. Exactly. I'm sure they took inspiration from that. And Secret of Mana came out like in 1992, right? Or something like that. This was 1993, late 1993 or early 94, I believe. And funny enough, this is the only like game in this style by this developer. They're mostly known for doing mech action games. Oh my goodness! Or their first game, which was like a mech style shmup, and it's okay. But here we get the jump fairy. Basically, for 1 pip of mana, you jump. Well, you have to. Oh my god, I am getting wrecked. You get to jump farther and higher for every time you jump. It's really useful, but it does drain your mana pretty quickly if you keep it equipped, so I only equip it when necessary. So I'm trying to avoid hitting that brown enemy, the brown orb that's following us, because if you hit it, it multiplies. Let's go over here. Oh man, I am getting hit pretty hard. But that's okay, we got a health refill right here. Yeah. Well, we do get some characters that are like, oh my god, I want to help. It's like, no, we don't want you to help. We just need your assistant to get to where we're going. So now here, we're gonna jump on this pole up here. And jump over here. You feel like you shouldn't be able to go up here. Like you feel like, oh yeah, this is someplace you shouldn't be. But actually, the health upgrade's up here. Yeah, the bats, the dirt birds of this game. And so in this room, we just gotta press 3 switches to activate the lift to the next area. Like, sometimes I'll try to clear out the bats if they're in the way, but they're pretty tough to hit with either. And that's just how it is. But yeah, back on the developer of this game. The developer of this game was like kind of a prolific X68000 developer. They only made like 4 or 5 games, but after their first game, they were all really top tier quality games. Like Aqualess is a really, really cool mech action game with grappling, with like a grappling hook mechanic. And then you got this game, and then you got Nias, which is like a mediocre to okay shmup with some really good music. And then their last game was Geograph Seal, which is a really, really cool, full 3D first-person mech shooter that actually is, if you're familiar with Jumping Flash, it's the same developers, actually, as this game. And they use Geograph Seal as like a jumping off point for the Jumping Flash games. Because basically after Geograph Seal, they got acquired by Sony and became a first-party developer for them. Let's switch. So now we got Giant Squid here with a cute little bow. I like this. I like the design of this fight casually. In speedrun, it's less interesting, if only because you don't get to see the second phase. Basically in the second phase, she throws away her shield and pulls out another sword and just really goes to town on you. And now we have Water Tribe Girl. And she's just like, yeah, I'm here to help you out. I'm here for this. Now we go over here. I'm gonna swap her over just so I don't forget for later, because like the third slot's pretty irrelevant. So I'll switch her over now just because it's convenient to do so. And then go back to the defense ring. And so this is basically an abandoned castle that's been overrun by zombies and other miscellaneous critters like slimes, red skeletons. Get the map in here, of course. And we want to go into the house here, but we can't. Or I guess a mansion, more like it. So we have to find another way in. And it turns out we can go through the well. Go over here, and now we're going to make use of that jump fairy. Jump all the way over there. You can barely make that jump with the jump fairy. And then for this one, we don't need a jump fairy, but man, it makes it so much easier because it's such a tight jump otherwise. Ooh, wow. Was not expecting another one there. And then there's one more jump we're going to be needing this fairy for. Go over here, and we're just going to cut this corner over here. Nice, first try. Okay. And then we're going to get a pair of glasses here. And what do you do with glasses? Of course, you read with them. So first, we're going to go over this magic beer here that we don't know really what to do with, but we know that we have to do something with it. Go over here, find the book, and we can't read it first, and it's a spell book we find out once we put on the glasses. And it tells us an incantation to go into the mirror version of where we're at. And then we could use that to get to the end of the stage, because we can't get there normally, because this is an exact mirror of where we were, so certain areas are blocked off. And then we can use the incantation again to get back to the normal world and go up the stairs. Yo, me too. Okay, let's switch over to her and get to one more of the tanky bosses in the game. They're like, oh man, we finally found her. And it's like, and then she's like, of course there's a boss. And this boss actually has some really cool patterns, really cool attack patterns. You know, the throw its shield, you can do that, and as it gets lower health, it starts doing other kinds of attacks as well. Switch. Let's see, switch. Just don't want to die, of course. We're taking a lot of damage. There we go. Finish off with a little bit of damage at the end. Okay, I could have gone a little lower. And then we get this girl here. She is very much insistent on not helping us, not joining our group, but she will help us out. She basically gives us access to the Palace of the Sun, which is our main goal, technically. Like, story-wise, it's our main goal. And she gives us a really useful item that I never use, because it's useful casually, I feel like it could be at least, but in the speedrun it's not useful at all. Basically, it gives you invincibility as long as you have it equipped, but it rapidly drains your mana. And your mana is just so much more useful for damage than it is for invincibility. So we're finally gonna... We know where our prince is. He's here. And this is like the first time they mention his name as Prince Soul. Of course, because he's of the Sun tribe, so of course his name is Soul. And we're gonna try to do a really tight jump with the jump fairy. So like normally you're supposed to go up and over to another floor, but if you have the jump fairy, there's like a really precise jump you can do like that. That lets us skip a decent chunk of this stage. But we still have to go upstairs anyways because there is a health upgrade here. But we skipped like having to go up and all the way around and coming back this way. And I will very much happily take second try, because if you take like 4 or 5 tries, then the slimes start getting in the way and you have to reload the room, and it ends up just taking a long time. Ah, got hit. There we go. You gotta be very careful there, because if you jump too soon and you hit that wall, you will take damage and just lose your jump, because it's a spike wall, of course. And then this is the first boss of a few that we're going to be running into, where it automatically switches your character to Iru. So there's no real reason to swap characters here. So I'm just grabbing refill items. Now we get the red key here, which opens gold chests. And of course, the key has to be red for gold chests. It makes total sense. And then here we run into the villain for the first time. For now, she's just referred to as the witch. And this is like the first time she's making an appearance, the first time we've talked about her since the beginning of the game. And of course, her ultimate weapon is just a copy of us. Except it's a robot, shoots missiles. It can do that too. And so I bring a blue-haired girl here. So just for her magic, because it does trail, it doesn't do much damage, but if I didn't screw it up, it would have been just a time saver for some damage. Let's see. No, come on. Going too fast in my menus. So yeah, I get some free damage in, because it's kind of hard to chase her around when she's like that, because she's just constantly dealing damage while moving around. There we go. And so if we let the fight go long enough, the head does detach from the body, and and the robot goes berserk. So we finally find the prince, but he doesn't want to be taken home to be married yet. His sense of duty says he has to take revenge on the witch and take her down so that his honor is saved or something. And she's like, and Iru is really hitting on him too, and he is totally just blowing her off because he wants to fulfill his duty. So now we're gonna switch to him, and then this is the only other stage in the game where having a specific party member makes a difference for the stage, and this one's actually required. The blue-haired girl is absolutely required for this stage. We cannot beat the stage without her, and I'll get into that once we get to that point. So for now, we're gonna grab some items. Use the jump fairy here to skip, basically they're just like a little maze you have to go around over here on the left side, but, it saves time not to do that. And honestly, it's mostly just a spectacle. It's not really like a maze or anything, but we have to collect these 2 pearls. And then, so there's a jump I can do down to the right there if I was doing, say an 80% run. But because I need all collectibles and the map happens to be up there. There we go, and there's just a lot of stuff in this room. Okay, here, jump, 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 Okay, now I can switch back to the defense ring. Good. Alright, we're out of there. Got that, and now we can pass the waterfall that was blocking our path. I'll get an item over here. Or no, that's not an item, that's right, it's just a switch. There will be an item coming up. So now we get the whole reason that we have to bring the blue-haired girl. And that is because only she can pull this pearl off there to open the door. It's something like, they mentioned like there's a barrier protecting it that only people over the water tribe can access. Now we're going to pull some switches. Basically we need to lower the dam so that we can proceed. And there are 3 switches for that. And then I'm going to grab this over here to restock my mana healing herb. And then, of course, it just floods here. Ooh, got a little graphic corrupt in there. That happens every so often. But other than that, we're good. It doesn't affect the game at all. And we open our first ever gold chest. Most of the gold chests, along with most of the red chests, are just health upgrades. There are some useful items that come out of them. Especially one that'll be really useful that you get way too late in the game, I feel like, for how useful it is. Okay, now we're going to switch to Soul, the only other named character. I'm going to open the door with the pearl, and he's useful only for this fight. Basically, this boss is always at range, and those tentacles can block regular projectile attacks, so it makes him really useful because he has this large beam attack. The catch with him is if he gets hit while casting it, there's a decent chance that he'll get turned around, and you can't reorient him while he's casting the spell. So it makes him a bit of a risk to use outside of this fight. There we go, nice. And now we get to the second last area. I like this area a lot. Swap back to her. And it's just labeled as the castle in the sky. And then this stage is more of like a big maze where we're collecting items to open doors to go through other doors, collect more items to go through other doors. I do like this stage a lot just for the movement and the puzzles. Like most of the puzzles in this game are pretty simplistic, but at least they require a little bit more effort. But basically, we're collecting 3 prisms to open doors, and also to light the basement, because the basement has a hidden path that can't be seen unless it's all lit up. And that door I just passed through, there's a switch you have to press to open it, and the timing for it is so strict that if you're not running at full speed when you're going through it, you will miss it. Or if you mistime your movement and you on the rotating spike pillars in the way, you will miss it. Open that one, that opens up the door. So basically, each prism we gather opens another door in succession. Here. Alright, there we go. This one's much more reasonable because it's just right there. It's not like you have to walk a little bit. And then right there, we stop our movement just for a moment, just so that we don't get hit by the arrows. And this one also plays with the height, the depth that you can have in this game. Like you have to jump up to hit those switches. Yeah. I know, right? It's kind of redundant. The castle in the sky. Now go over here. And then kill this enemy because it's very much in the way. And those spider enemies, their attack basically goes in right angles where it just homes in on you. You gotta wait for that platform. Gold chest we've opened as well, I believe. Okay, go down here. Oop, almost fell off. So it's impossible to make that cycle because it's a specific cycle to your viewing of it, and so I always want to make that cycle, and just like even with the jump fairy, you do not get there quick enough. Okay, little puzzle here, very simple. We need that to open this door over here, and then we're gonna have to do it again, except differently. That one, and that one. You can also walk into them to move them around, but that's like, it's kind of messy because it can be hit multiple times in succession that way. So this area we get access from the start, but if beyond this, there's nothing here. There's no platforms, and they only appear once you've put in all 3 prisms. Now we're going to go over here. There's a couple items we need to collect in order to clear the final puzzle. One of them is, of course, another prism, and then also a mirror, because one of the mirrors is missing. Someone decided to store it away for safekeeping. Go up over here. Alright. And now we got the mirror, we got the crystal, and now we can finally clear the last puzzle. And this one's actually a little bit more involved to solve, but like none of the puzzles in this game are that difficult. That, 2, 3, and hit that. Oh, there we go. And then the prism gets split. I'm gonna heal up because they're kind enough to get us items here. Okay, we get this boss here. He's not very talkative. He's like, do we have to fight? Like, yeah. And then, shall we start? And he's like, yeah. This guy is just not very talkative, but he's a very consistent fight. He will always teleport, cast, teleport again, and then stand for a moment, and then teleport again. And then after this cast, he will start using a new magic, his meteor magic. And then just gonna beat him down. There we go. And then just like that, we have access to the final area now, but we're not ready to go there yet because we still gotta do some backtracking. And the final area is just labeled Emperor X. Like, that's the only name we ever get for the final boss. And then we also, now we have the Moon Tribe girl in our party. At this point, my party makeup doesn't matter. I just changed to her now for the final stage because I find that she is the fastest for the final boss. And you'll see when we get there. There's one chest here I couldn't get my first time through because the jump is just so tight enough that you need a jump parry to do it. But the nice thing about this game is that we can exit a stage at any point, even if you haven't cleared it. And also another nice feature is that any puzzles you've solved stay solved when you re-enter a stage. It is really, really friendly like that. And we will see that in a couple after the stage. We will be re-entering a stage and all the puzzles will still be solved from when we went there before. It is really friendly like that, and I appreciate it so much. There we go. So there's a one red chest that we technically could have gotten on our first pass, but because it's right next to the gold chest and it's also out of the way enough that it's really just not worth getting our first time through. And again, it's just a health upgrade. Like I said, most of the red and gold chests in this game are health upgrades. Okay, got that. Now we're going here, and now you can see this area where it looks like when it's complete, when it's bathed in darkness. Basically, they'll even make a mention as, "Oh man, we should have brought her," and referring to the girl that lights up the place. And it gives you a hint for that when you first enter. It's the same hint when you first enter as well. Just like let you know, it's like, hey, if you bring a character here, something special happens. And I feel like they had more plans for that because like from the back of the box. They show more characters having that feature show up, and then but they probably had to cut it at some point, probably for development time. And then right there we get the attack berry. Not a very useful item to me. I feel basically it buzzes around you and it'll deal damage to enemies at the cost of 1 pip of MP for every time it attacks. And maybe it's useful. I just haven't found a use for it. Alright, so now this is probably like the longest backtrack because we have to go up the tower quite a bit to get to the gold chest. But it is a very useful item. The gold chest in this one is the Magic Love. Yeah, I love this song so much. And at least now we can hear more of it because whenever you open a chest, it plays that fanfare and then it resets the music to a specific point in the track. So it's really nice that we can really hear it now. But, so we're gonna get something called the Magic Glove, which increases our max MP by 1 per character. So, every character has a set MP, and it's a shared MP pool. Iruru has 3 MP by default, so this will bring up to 4, and most other characters have 4 by default, and they'll bring them up to 5. And extra casts are always appreciated. Now down here, and now we go right instead of left, because left will just take us up to the end of the stage. And get this gold chest right here. And now we have all the passive items in the game. And the only like there is 3 chests in the final stage. Sorry, 4 if you count the map. And then the health upgrade here. So now that we have the jump parry, we can just jump up here instead of having to go all the way around. Because the jump parry is really nice. That gives you that extra height to reach platforms you normally couldn't reach. Yeah, I'll just go down there. And go over here. And now we can jump up here. We can just skip the obstacles altogether, so we don't have to really worry about them. And it's really convenient like that. We can just run on the edge here to avoid those as well. Over here. And great, I haven't missed anything. Our health isn't maxed out yet, but it will be. Because the final stage has 1 more health upgrade. Wrong way. Left, up. Okay, in we go. So this final stage, the final section of the final stage has like some platforming that they're expecting you to do, but if you have the jump parry, you can just completely ignore it. And so now we enter Emperor X's castle, and we find here a sticky orb. And you're like, ew, it's gross. Why is it sticky? And then we get the map, and of course we get the other orb, which is apparently salty. And like, why do we know it's salty? I don't know. But they make a mention that, wow, this orb is really salty. Oops. And we get the final health upgrade. Look at that squiggly health bar all maxed out. And of course, we're entering it in the nostrils of the door, so of course that's why it's sticky and salty. It only makes sense that the door, of course, would have a running nose. And stay on the edge here to avoid those Pac-Man enemies. Now you're definitely playing D&D correctly. Gonna do some platforms here. This is really tight jumping. I don't think they expect you to do this, but man, it makes it a lot faster if you do. Avoid you. Over here. I do wish there was a better way to get up to that platform, but there's just like they make it so that you cannot get up there any other way from there. Oh man, chest bumping the slime. Take care of that. Then let's switch to the defense ring, because we don't want to waste any more P. We need as much as we can for the final boss. Over there, and my health's pretty low, so I'm going to grab this as well. Yeah. Now, we're going to go upstairs here. A very, like, Chinese, Japanese, Asian themed area. So we're up in the scaffolding now. I'm gonna jump down here because like the doors are closed off, or the rooms are closed off from each other, and that's the only way we can get around. Over here. Alright. And the voice can be heard, and we find out that the final boss isn't really a malicious evil villain. She's just a collector. She just loves collecting people. Like, that's her whole motive, and we find out that she wasn't kidnapping the prince because he's a prince or anything. Yeah, it did too. It took me a while the first time as well. And she's just like, and then we called her an old lady, and she gets really pissed off. So now we switch off to this girl, and now her magic is she can slow down time. And her attack is that she has the staff she can control the movement on. And that was unfortunate. So I hit the sprite limit and my staff disappeared, so I couldn't see where I was throwing it. And I forgot to change that to the attack ring. The only time we'll ever use the attack ring today, because she's like, her physical attack is so good. So yeah, I just slowed down time to make it a lot easier to deal with this boss. And the boss has 3 heads, and they each have their own health pool. But fortunately, like, all we have to worry about is the shared health pool at the end. There we go. Oh yeah, big damage. Yeah, the Sentai pose. So I'm gonna hold off on slowing down because it does slow down animations too. And I don't want to take forever on that. And time will be coming up shortly. And that is time. Yeah, twirling that staff is crazy. Now that we finally defeated the Emperor X, we can finally marry our prince. And get a little smooch on the end. Yeah, thank you for the GGs. I'm so glad I got to show this off. This was a fantastic game. And, like, I don't know if we have time for it, but the credits are gorgeous, and there's a little bit of a tag at the end that's kind of funny. Like, look at all these cool renders they do just for the credits. No, you don't see them in the game at all, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. Like, they put a lot of work in this game, and it's just so funny that this is the only game like this they've made. Like I said, all their other games are mech action games or featured mechs in some way. And then, of course, there's Jumping Flash, which, is still, like, mech robot based kind of thing. But they don't go for that cute style ever again. And then, like, their final game, Mr. Mosquito, that was Mr. Mosquito 1 and 2 were the last games this company made before Sony had closed the studio. Which is unfortunate, because clearly they were talented and creative developers. Yeah, well, it would have been nice. Sadly, locked to this X68000 forever, but if you're interested in mini consoles, there is the X68000Z that released in Japan, I believe, last year, and they released the exact perfect collection pack that includes this game. And then here at the end, we find out what happens to the Emperor X after we defeated her. Yeah, it does. There's the exact perfect collection or something like that, and it has this game on it, along with the other games, Nias, Geograph Seal, and Aqualess. Owari Genai, yo, it's not over. It's not over, I'd say. And so she's just strung off the edge of the world. And she's like, remember me. And then falls to her doom. Who knows what's at the bottom? But thank you so much for having me. And yeah, whoops. And enjoy the rest of the marathon. I believe Kingdom Hearts is up next. Good luck to that runner. I know it'll be amazing. I've been watching them off and on practice it, and they're going to do a fantastic job. But thank you so much for having me, and enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, or afternoon.